My name is Joe Carb, and I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher from Springville, New York. And I'm also a 2010 Teacher Fellow at C-SPAN. Studentcam is a great way to engage your students in civics and current events. It's challenging, it's a lot of hard work, but students have an incredibly rewarding experience. Now, there are a lot of ways to implement Studentcam in your classroom. I know teachers who assign it as an independent project. Others spend weeks in class working with students on Studentcam. In my 8th grade class, we spend about 8 days working on Studentcam. And there are some basic steps we follow that I'd like to share with you today. Step 1 is to introduce the project. I always show videos from the Studentcam website of previous winners so students get an idea of topics and how they might produce their video. It really gets them excited. And something else that gets them excited are the prizes. Studentcam gives out prizes to the top 75 winners every year. And these are cash prizes. It's a great motivator for students. Step 2 is to choose groups. Students can choose to work by themselves or they can choose to work in a group. And in my class, I'm very careful about who I put students with. Some students have different skills. For example, they might be good at computers, they might be good researchers, or they might be great public speakers. And for that reason, I try to put students together who will complement each other's skills. Once groups are chosen, they have to decide on a topic. And the way I usually do this is to have them brainstorm, to have them talk to adults. Sometimes I give them a survey so they can go out and survey adults and other students about topics that might be interesting to complete a documentary on. The third step is research. And they have to be very careful to use credible sources and to record their sources when they research. They sit down, there's usually a researcher. At this point, I also have students go into the video library of C-SPAN and look for clips. Every Studentcam video is required to have at least one C-SPAN clip. And I usually encourage students to find 2 or 3 in my class. The video library is a little tricky to use, so some instruction is definitely needed by the teacher. So students can really have effective searches. Step 4 is to conduct interviews. Students are encouraged but not required to interview an expert or someone that is somehow connected with their topic. And in my class, I require them to find somebody to interview. I always encourage my students to think big. You never know who will agree to an interview if you only ask. I've had students interview nationally famous professionals, as well as doctors and professors, and it's been incredibly rewarding for them to speak to these people. The last step is editing. Students have to sit down and edit their project, and this takes a lot of time. Very often students think they're done, and when they do think they're done, I always encourage them to show their video to as many people as possible to see if they're getting their point across. So show it to other students, show it to teachers, show it to their parents to see if they're achieving their goal. What were they trying to do? Very often during this process, they'll find that something they have is a little confusing and they need to make some revisions. Well, that's how I do it. Good luck on your Studentcam project, and if you have any questions, check the Studentcam website or email the staff at C-SPAN.